I feel like Wanderlust is very overrated, particularly the way it's portrayed nowadays, and particularly because the majority of people that you run into who who have Wanderlust, a lot of them tend to be, well, they're probably not going to be your friends. They're friendly, but they're probably not your friends. A lot of them are very much slaves to their passion. And I feel like a lot of people have this image of travel as finding adventure and, like particularly because of the way it's portrayed on YouTube by a lot of YouTubers that I'm not very fond of. They see it as something that is big and glamorous, like a Hollywood movie, I guess you could say. And the problem is that the vast majority of travel, in my experience, I mean, it was very rewarding, but it was because I actually grew from it. Like a lot of the growth that I did over the past couple of years was because I was able to look at things that in my life, because when you're by yourself out into traveling and, out in a country where most people are probably not going to speak your language, you really have to spend a lot of time in solitude thinking and reviewing a lot of the things that just happened. And as a result, you start to think, you start to wonder, you start to question. And most people don't do that. Let's be honest. I mean, during this lockdown, I've seen more and more people fall into materialism and fall into egoism rather than actually really review themselves and their life and really try to change it for the better. And let's be honest, most people don't want to do that. Most people want to get good things without putting in the work. That's why when I was in Eastern Europe, I ran into so many young men and women who were obviously there that they didn't want to fix themselves. They wanted to just, drink beer and put on makeup and go to bars and clubs and find themselves high quality men and women. But most of the time, they weren't high quality themselves. I mean, they didn't have anything interesting to talk about. They weren't very, I mean, the women, all they could do was wiggle their butt in your face. And the men, they were pathetic. All they could do was drink beer and talk about football or, I don't know, some TV show or something like that. And they weren't very moral. So the thing is that, you know, if you are indeed deciding to travel, you have to understand that a lot of it is going to be solitude and you have to be comfortable with that. And, you know, I'm not going to say that every single person I ran into when I traveled was a scumbag. I mean, in fact, some of the people that I met, some of my closest friends that I met while traveling, and met very close friends. They live in other countries, but if I hadn't been traveling, I wouldn't have never met them, and they're some of my closest friends. And the thing is that, you know, I did grow a lot from these experiences, even the negative experiences of running into people who were um, not very cool people, I guess you could say. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail right now, but the thing is that it helped me grow. It helped me relook at things. It helped me think, like, well, why am I attracting these kinds of people? How can I attract good people? Or when it comes to bad people, how can I actually help them to understand that what they're doing is only going to lead to perdition? So it is an experience, but it's very personal. And I guess you can't really commercialize something that's very personal unless you try to blow it up into a larger than life way and you give it a personality that's incredibly annoying and loud. But the thing is that, and overly cheerful to the point that it's condescending. Anyways, but the thing is that, you know, when it comes to a lot of these things, man, it's very personal. And most people, they don't like that. They don't like the idea of very personal stuff because they don't like being alone with their thoughts. Because a lot of times those thoughts will burn through you. And some of these thoughts are not very comforting, but it is important that you face them so that you improve. And I think that if you can travel for the right reasons, and if you can go places for the right reasons, then, if you can deal with solitude and really if you can question a lot of your beliefs and really actually kind of be very introspective as to what you've been through and, going other places, it's very empowering to go by yourself, but it's also, it can be very lonely. But if you can use that loneliness to really, I guess you could say, to really look within yourself and question and reevaluate, it'll really help you grow. And I just wish more people did it. And I'm hopeful that maybe more people might. And for those that don't, well, they're going to learn their lesson the hard way.